Hey guys, what is up? Redmaster here, and we're back again. Am I too far away? It doesn't matter. But what's up? Hopefully you have seen the totally accurate battle simulator video by now. I really enjoyed it. I think it's a fun game. I might be doing more with that in the future. But also, like I said in that video, we're gonna have to go back, or we're gonna have to stick to our routine. So, today we're going to be going over the Ninja faction. This hopefully shouldn't be long, because there aren't as many cards to go through, to be honest. There's a good amount, but not like a whole lot. And then hopefully I can get in maybe a game or two with the Ninja deck, maybe. Oh, we'll see. But anyway, let's just start off. We're going to go right into our first card here. Patient Study. For 1 gold, you can return an ally to its owner's hand and draw a card. Okay. This card is kind of, I guess, it can serve a use if you want to hold something in your hand, don't want it to die, bring it back and forth to the hand like a Lore Master move. I've played a Patient Study with Lore Master back in the day, and I was hilariously spamming Lore Master Vanish. Yeah, I think this card does and can serve a good purpose. I haven't seen it play too much lately, but overall I think it's a good card. It's a good rarity. The draw aspect is very useful with that. So not much else about that card. Secret Technique. I like this card a lot. You're going to be seeing it a lot too, especially in patch 3.3. Generally because you're adding a random focus card to your hand, and focus seems to be a new shift per se. We're seeing a lot of focus decks now popping up. Oh, crap. Sorry. But what this card does is it adds a random focus card to your hand, and knowing all the focus cards, there are a good amount, and it costs 1 less. So that cost reduction can see it be played earlier. So like a Eternity Strike move, what else? Special Delivery, Lightning Maze, things like that. And now that we're again seeing this whole shift towards focus decks, this will be a very prevalent card, definitely in your first play. You're going to see Spitefish or Secret Technique. There's going to be a lot of those running around. Next, we have Swiftness. Swiftness is a very basic card. It just gives generally +1 movement. Now, as you can see here on the side box, it says that bonus movement, a unit movement stats can never exceed 5. That's just something that you should always keep in mind. 5 is like the max, so if you have like a unit with +4 movement, giving it the swiftness will be it has reached its maximum movement speed, and that's completely fine. I think this card can be used in a lot of combos. I did use it in my Kraken swiftness video, like a Swift Kraken. So I know a couple of you have told me that you really liked that deck, so definitely not a bad card at all. And seeing as how a starter card, you pick it up very easily. Next, we go into Ambush. For 2 gold, you give a stealth unit to that 4/4 this turn. Now, this card again was recently changed, as shown by this little box in the corner there. But generally, this card may be a bit more used now if you're against a stealth deck, seeing as how you're giving a stealth unit such big stats. You can take a Kunoichi from 4/4 and turn it into like an 8/4, or not 4, 8/8. Just saying 8/4 in case damage and whatnot is taken, stuff like that. But that math still doesn't add up. So yeah, I've used Ambush, and of course, again, my last video with Stealth Destruct, I used this card. You see how powerful it was. Keep getting those buffs per se on Kunoichi and Koru, so definitely not a card to be overlooked when you're using stealth or up against stealth. Next we have Firebomb. Firebomb is of course a focus spell, deals 3 damage and returns a nearby friendly unit to your hand. This card's okay in my opinion, definitely one of the weaker per se focus cards when compared to Eternity Strike, when compared to Fist of the Five Gods, when compared to Omega Strike, some things like that. But it is useful in that vanishing aspect, and I think that's what people use Firebomb for. And the fact that you can also get it from stuff like Secret Technique, where it has a reduced cost, or reduces cost from Panda or Mystic Dojo, just kind of gives it that feeling that it's a card not to be overlooked, generally, is what I'm trying to say. But, I mean, personally, I think there are better focus cards out there, but, not too sure, because we're just now getting into this scene where we're going to see a lot of focus decks now. Hidden Intent, flip any unit's attack and health. If their health becomes 0, make it 1 instead. Again, I've tried to utilize this card in a previous video, similar to Ambush and Swiftness. I think it's just one of those cards that was overlooked, to be honest. There isn't much to say when you have a, say, 4-8 Shodan from Pirate ability now become an 8-4. It has that range ability, so it becomes more dangerous. I mean, you kind of see what I'm getting at here. Definitely shouldn't be a card that's overlooked, but definitely shouldn't be an automatic go-to because of the risky nature of this card. Like, say you're waiting for a unit to have a good amount of health to use that switch, it may be damaged in the process, and that can ultimately alter the attack that he's getting. So, again, I like the card, but it is risky to use if you're building a deck around it. House of the Ninja Rats. Your rats gain +1 attack and +1 movement. This card is okay. I've definitely played against it when it comes to your typical rat deck. So, put a couple houses down, drop a couple Rat Kings, have some hovels to spawn rats. It can become dangerous only when your opponent has a good amount of rats already present, and one of them isn't going to do much either. You kind of need 2 or 3 to really emphasize its power. But if you're running rats, I say use this, maybe try to incorporate it into your deck, because definitely a buff that benefits rats and shouldn't be overlooked when making that specific deck. Next we have Aijutsu, another recently changed card. Gives a melee unit the ability of Awaken, and that Awaken ability is to gain +8 attack. This can be dangerous in Awaken decks when, say you're having like a plan of action, maybe a Ronin or another card like him, and then you pop a Aijutsu on him. He's gonna become the priority target for your opponent now. So the concern I have with Aijutsu is if you're planning to use it, make sure you have it done with Saurus. Or do we still have Rite of Awakening? I think we still do have Rite of Awakening. Again, that's decline. Yeah, we have Rite of Awakening. So if you're using it with stuff like that and whatnot, I would definitely say, I'm sorry guys, I have to take care of this. I apologize for that. Hopefully he can see himself in the video, so hopefully he's happy about that. But we do have Rite of Awakening, so that means, what was I even trying to say? That, if you're using it with Aijutsu, you need to have a plan for it. That's all I'm trying to say. Other than that, its attack power is really strong, so it'll definitely throw your opponent off guard if you play it. But again, like I said, you need to have a plan with maybe Saurus or Rite of Awakening to do that. Which reminds me, I just totally skipped past over Warlocks, didn't I? Oh boy. I'll go back to that next week. Sorry guys, I kind of just jumped from Pirates to Ninjas for some reason. I don't know. I guess because Warlocks is my favorite faction, maybe I wanted to save them for last. Kind of just threw off the chronological order of the videos there, but you guys don't mind, right? Anyway, where were we? Meditation. gives a unit. Okay, so it's sort of like Light Jutsu and it giving Awaken abilities, but this ability is kind of weaker. It's giving it +2/2. I don't see this card being used that often, and it's probably simply because I don't really have a purpose for it. If you're using an Awaken deck and you throw it on an early, maybe like a Boudoir or a 1 gold drop unit, okay, but I find it most beneficial when it comes out of the blue, like Flux, and you just pop it right on. I wouldn't just throw this into a deck, however, unless you're planning to do something with the Awaken effect, in which case you can throw it in. But generally, it's an okay card for 2/2. I just don't see a place to throw this card into. Next, we have Mystic Dojo, another card that you could possibly see emerge over the next few weeks. I doubt it though, generally because I'll explain this later on, but it's generally your focus spells are getting a cost reduction out of the building. So your focus spells cost 2 less. That's okay, but there's a card that does the same effect later down the road, which has more use than Mystic Dojo. So I would say if you're running Mystic Dojo, you're gonna have maybe some issues, because you're going to have a lot of price reduction, and if you're running some focus spells, you might, have to prioritize between which ones you want, units or spells. So, I generally dislike the Dojo, though. I would rather substitute it in for a card later down the road. Next is Ninja Training. I've always used Ninja Training when running a Ninja deck, generally because it's, a great draw. You're drawing a card, and if it's a unit, it costs 2 less. Very beneficial if you need the early game, or you want to just draw a card. If you need draw, you can pull things like Shoden, which gets reduced to 5, Robins, which gets reduced to 5, or things like Books or Spitefish that get reduced to 0. Fencer reduces to 2, Guardian to you get the whole point. But generally, I include this in almost, I think, maybe every Ninja deck I have, just because I liked it so much and because I find it very useful. Next, we have Shadow Katana, a card similar to, well, not similar to, but sort of like Meditation, in the case that it's a simple buff, per se. Like, you're just giving a melee unit +3 attack. That's generally it for the Shadow Katana. If you're starting out and don't have a good collection, and if you're running a Ninja deck, I would say maybe pop 2 of these into a deck. Maybe. To be honest, I just haven't used Shadow Katana for a while. I've seen people, if you guys remember, you've probably seen him on Cards.tv, Uri Zero ran Shadow Katana with his, Viking Ninja, shenanigans, I want to call them. And they worked out pretty well for him, so if you pull out something like that, then Shadow Katana is a good card to go to. And its attack isn't bad either for its cost, so a good balance there. Next, you have Shadow Slip. Shadow Slip is a card, sort of like a Vanish card. I think the next 3 cards are based on, the next 3 cards are based on Vanish, and the first being Shadow Slip. Shadow Slip returns all of your units to your hand and have a cost reduction of 1 less. I'm thinking I can just add a card. But generally, Shadow Slip, I know it went around. It originally had this other ability where the cost reduction was higher, and I think even reduced to free, and there was a lot of trouble with that. Hence why it got dropped to the price that it is now, or the cost reduction it is at now. I would think this card is okay. I don't recommend running it unless you have a plan, like with multi-summon units, which is where it's most effective. But generally, this is one of your weaker cards in the Ninja category. From there, we move on to Vanish. Vanish is a card that is just simply it. It just vanishes your unit, like magic. But it, of course, reading by the card's ability, the correct phrasing of it is return an ally to your hand and it costs 3 less. Now, what was I going to say? Oh, Yeah, this cost reduction is higher than Shadow Slip, but again, you're only returning 1 unit. Again, I ran Vanish a lot back with Lore Master, when I was bouncing Lore Master back and forth for dragons, and who knows if that's going to come back, seeing as how there is dragons in the top tier gameplay right now. So I don't know if maybe Lore Master Bounce is going to make a comeback, in which case, Vanish is definitely a good bet to go. But generally, if you want to, again, this is going back to patient study. If you're using a deck that relies on protecting a unit and utilizing its ability through initiative, I would say throw in a Vanish, back and forth kind of thing. Next, we go to Vanishing Strike. Vanishing Strike was, of course, recently changed, but it gives a melee unit +4/+4. So it's like any unit gets that ambush buff. And another benefit of it is it returns to your hand after combat. So this is really one of those great cards where I see it thrown around all the time. I really think it should be buffed to maybe a rare or an epic, personally in my opinion, because of its versatility and how many people actually use it. What it does, generally, in terms of value, it basically can destroy a unit, an enemy unit, possibly higher health, because you never know what that buff is going on to. And then it comes to that same unit that you want to maybe protect or have just used goes back to your hand so you can use it again. That's incredible. I would say that you would try to throw in a couple Vanishing Strikes every now and then into a deck and see how that plays out. Just because of how versatile I think it is. It deserves that kind of position, never to be overlooked, and it always is, something that you could throw your opponent's game off entirely just because they didn't expect that much damage to come out, and now their castle's either very low or they're missing a key unit, things like that. From there, we move on to Harmonic Balance, a very risky card to play next to Hidden Intent. It gives your units +3 attack, which is the benefit, like Shadow Katana, but it also gives the enemy units +3 health. So, again, I made a video back with Harmonic Balance, really illustrating how you could properly use Harmonic Balance. And I'm going to explain it here again in this video. The way you use this card is hopefully to use it when you have your units out, a good amount of your units, and nearly little or to no enemy units. That way you get the most benefit without giving your opponent the edge. Now, if you have cards to go along with this, like Combustion, to get rid of that extra health, that's no problem. But ideally, you want to do it where you have a big army, they have a little army. Getting that right. So that's what I think about Harmonic Balance. I mean, it's kind of risky too, but you're also getting some good attack out of it. So, not that bad. Just gonna do a little quick. Yeah, okay. So, next we move on to Kunoichi. Kunoichi is actually your first ninja unit. You run, your first ninja unit for 3 gold, 4/4, and its general power is its stealth. Not many units have stealth, so this is where Kunoichi is, looked at for. The stealth can be incredibly handy in pulling off little combos like sneaking around and overbuffing the attack, focus positioning, general surprises out of nowhere, or surprise blocks. There's a lot of benefits with stealth, which is why Kunoichi is, included in a good amount of ninja decks. Especially, again, since we're looking at a more focus-oriented decks. I know I've seen a lot of focus decks, in testing and going around. So, Kunoichi is probably a good card to throw in to help, you just want to get, like, the sneak edge. I guess that's even the correct term. But she is definitely not a card to be messed with nor looked over. Next we have Will of the Dragon. Will of the Dragon for 3 gold destroys a unit with 6 or more attack. Those pesky Titan Watchers, Craxuses, I just ran out of Shodins. No, not Shodin. King Crab. That's what I was thinking of, King Crab. Those pesky units that come in way too early can now disappear more easily with Will of the Dragon. It destroys a unit with 6 or more attack. Flat out, plain and simple. The only problem is, you know, if you want to devote a portion of your deck to solely, you know, chance, then that's where Will of the Dragon comes in. Now, I only say chance just because you never know what your opponent has nor intends to throw out. So carrying Will of the Dragon is always sort of a risky thing, and when you draw it, it can always come at the possible worst times when you absolutely don't need it. So that's why I give Will of the Dragon, you know, a chance rating, just because of that possible dead draw he creates. From there we go into Face of the Dragon. Face of the Dragon is a wordy, lengthy card. Give a unit +2 attack and +1 movement, and it gains stealth at the end of this turn. Again, the stealth, very much looked at, just generally because it's stealth. You know, you're hiding in units, your enemy can't see him, and you have a free unit to move around without risk of him being destroyed. The movement and attack buffs are also beneficial. Usually people mostly use it for the attack and movement buff. They don't really look at it for the stealth buff. And that's just generally because 1 movement, 2 attack, you could be right up on the base, you could be right up on another unit. You can generally just move around to a lot of places without your enemy, you know, realizing what hit them. So, I've used Face of the Dragon in the past, I've had success with it, and I'm pretty sure that if you use it, you might get the same success, or you should get the same success. Why would I say might? I don't know. Next we go to Koru. Koru is probably, just gonna go down the line. Oh yeah, maybe the 2nd or 3rd best ninja card in the faction. His stealth ability is primarily what he's known for, and he's got a sneaky ability other than the Kunoichi. After attacking, Koru regains stealth and may move an additional 2 spaces. Very, very good. Generally, when you use Koru, you always want to move again with him, just because once you attack, the enemy now knows where you are, where that unit is. So by having Koru move, you're going to disorient your opponent again, causing him to fight, like, you know, oh, where is he? But, you know, used for the same things as Kunoichi in terms of, you know, surprise block, focus positioning, etc. So, but the movement, the additional movement, I should say, is the very important aspect of Koru. Next, we go on to Mystic Panda. Mystic Panda is the other card I was talking about in contrast to Mystic Dojo. The focus spell cost reduction. I find this to be more useful, generally because he's a unit with the same ability. So, you know, when you're struggling to either have units or spells, you get benefits of both by having Mystic Panda. He has the cost reduction equal to Dojo, and his stats aren't that bad either. So definitely if you're running a focus deck, find Panda, craft Panda, add Panda. It's all about the Panda in focus decks, all about the Panda. Next we go on to Ronin. Ronin is one of the cards well known to people climbing the high ranks, or if you're new to the ranks, you're bound to see Ronin at least once or twice. He's a card that gains +4/+4 from an Awaken effect, so he essentially becomes a 7/10. Yes, he becomes a 7/10 unit. That's dangerous, and if that's on your castle, that's a big no-no for you. Normally what you want to do with Ronin is get him out of the way quickly. So if you have something that could reach him, or some removal, like, maybe, I don't want to say murder, something of low, or like Witch Bolt, Incinerate, things like that, I would say that's what you want to use it towards, just to get rid of that Ronin. Or if you want to block, that's totally up to you. A warning with that, though, is the Rampage. You never know when a Rampage is coming out. So, next we go on to Woten. Woten, just thinking about it at this point, may have become the weakest dragon, per se. Woten used to have the ability of transforming. He still had the transform, but he also returned to the hand. However, that was looked down upon for people's sneaky rat combos and that ultimately got Wotan kind of brought down a bit. He now just transforms a friendly unit in order to play, so he's still kind of useful, in my opinion, for some rat decks, generally because, you know, say you have a rat in position, and now all of a sudden that rat just transforms from a 1/1 into a 7/5, or if you're even buffed, maybe 8/5, something like that. So that's why I think Wotan still has some of its power, but I think he's probably maybe the weakest dragon, per se. And, you know, the difference between dragons and drakes, you know, dragons are more for legendary status. I think all dragons are legendary, while drakes are your more stone, knights, faithful, etc. Just in case anyone needs to know. Next, we go on to Demon Hunter. Demon Hunter, I like to use. I've used it in the past seasons. Its initiative gaining +2 is okay, so it becomes essentially a 5/5, 4/5 for 4 movement. That's some interesting wordplay I just did there. I like this card generally due to its reach, and how it can lunge out and get rid of something. It was sort of like Master at Arms, but for a lower gold tier. I still use it, to be honest. I really haven't played that deck, though, ever since 28th, so I don't know how well it fares up in the current, I guess, high-tier gameplay. From there, we go on to Eternity Strike, probably one of the most dangerous focus cards you see in this game. It deals 3 damage and it deals 3 damage to an enemy and all connected enemies. So it's essentially a 3 chain. Probably one of the highest chains, one of the highest base chains in the game. Of course, you could add on with attacks like, you know, the Fire Drake chain and the Temple of 5 Gods, but this is definitely a dangerous focus card. From there, we go on to Spirit Crash. Spirit Crash, choose a friendly unit, drain its health to 1, and explode damage equal to the health drain. This is sort of like a detonation, per se. Like, say you built up a huge health guy, say 11 health, move up to the castle, play Spirit Crash, boom, 10 damage goes directly to that castle. Again, I've used Spirit Crash in a video, previous video. I did a lot of ninja combo videos, just because they have so many combos. So if you want to see more gameplay pushing Spirit Crash, you can go check that out. But I just think this is a dangerous card, because you never know if it's being played, you never know when it's going to be played. I guess you can assume when there's a high health unit, you have a pretty high chance of being Spirit Crashed. But just generally a dangerous, more devastating card than a couple of others. And finally, we have Shodan. Shodan the Zen Master. As you can see, this guy is 7 gold, 5 attack, 8 health. The ability Awaken, gain +1 movement and a secret attribute based on your other faction. I'm about to run down those secret attributes right now. If you play it with Viking, you get Chain Lightning of 2. If you play it with Crusader, you get a health buff. I forget the numbers. If you play it with Warlock, you get Explosive 2. And if you play it with Pirate, you get a subtraction of your attack by 1 and range. Ninjas doesn't really count as a double faction, so if you play a Mono Ninja and have Shodan, there's not going to be a benefit to you, just so, Shodan is probably one of the best, or probably is the best ninja card around, generally because he could be used in any deck he goes with. From the Warlocks, you generally see an Awaken combo, and him played with Awaken. If you see him with Viking, you're usually setting up for a knockback chain sort of effect there. If you see him played with Crusader, you're maybe expecting to some sort of Hidden Intent or Spirit Crash deck. If you see him with, what else am I? Pirate, you're just kind of seeing him maybe run around and, you know, range punch some things. So definitely a dangerous card, and its stats are meant to back it up. The 7 gold is definitely worth it. I think that's a great price for him. But generally, this is probably your most dangerous ninja card around. So, that's all the ninja cards. I'm probably doing only one match. I don't know how long this video's been going for at this point, so I kind of want to just maybe do one match, and then that would be it. I'm sorry again that I've overlooked the Warlocks. I really forgot that chain of event. Little action there. Again, hopefully I draw a ninja card, because I don't want to just be sitting here doing a match. I don't want to. Okay. Let's throw out the Shaman. Please draw. Nope, you don't draw me anything. Maybe you don't draw me anything. Why do you not draw me anything? Oh my goodness. Yeah, and then you're gonna swipe. Oh, okay, didn't move up a bit. I have a lot of useless. Oh, actually, I'm gonna play that. I have all 3 flame princes in my hand. Oh dear, oh dear. Maybe I just won't turn this into a ninja deck, but it's gonna say spam flame prince. Well, we are spawning them, but let's see what happens if I just spam. Oh dear. Okay, so there's a demon hunter. There, I'll demonstrate the reach right now. You can see what I'm talking about. How it just lunges out and boom, I can just remove that shield knight right away. Let's just try to push you up a bit. Yeah. I got 2 flame princes, so if one dies, I should be worried. I don't know what he's gonna do with that paladin though. I should say. Deck the castle. Shaman for that. Well. Alright, ninja training. Alright, so let's see what I can draw. Okay, so that's what I was talking about. Dragon Knight can get you a great little, I should say, maybe lower costing unit that you might need at a certain time. So let's move these guys up. I want to take out that church next turn. Shaman. Okay. So again, we're going to do that thing where we lunge, we take out that. That. We're gonna position this flame prince for next turn. We're gonna get rid of this church. Doosh. Throw out a shield knight. We'll throw out a dragon knight up. Alright, so we're in a good position right now. Centaur, divine knowledge, draws 2. Alright, we're gonna do this. We got him down to the roast, basically. That's pretty funny. I never got a double flame prince like that and have them both survive. Maybe they won't. Who knows? Let's see what happens. Yeah. So they all got some good attack. So to end this off, we're gonna do a series of flame prince attacks just because it's pretty funny. So we're gonna douche, douche, and douche. Alright, so that was just a quick match. I didn't, you kind of saw the Demon Hunter and Ninja Training examples like I was trying to hopefully show. But that's basically about it. If you guys did enjoy, please make sure to hit that like button, share this video, and comment below. I will do a Warlock faction next week, just because I overlooked it again, so... hopefully I will remember to do that. I guess that's it for now. Make sure to, I guess, no, what was I even gonna say? I don't even know what I was gonna say. That's great. So, I guess I'll see you guys in the next video then, and until then, stay gaming.